This is something I can't stop thinking about as women get more and more money, education, and they need men less. Women don't want this much money so that they can buy handbags, designer handbags, trips. That's all amazing. But the real reason that women are so motivated to get money is because most of them have seen a woman in their life that has been controlled and not been able to leave situations and rooms that she's not being respected in because she doesn't have the financial freedom to do so. And I honestly think that is what is motivating so many women in our generation to have their own money, to have financial freedom, to be able to walk away from situations that no longer serve them because they are able to. And that is the biggest luxury that you could ever afford yourself.
The motivation to make money has led many women down a very different path from the one they once imagined. It has led them to end up alone, to seek validation on social media, even to create content on the famous Blue app, and in many cases to leave behind the values they once claimed to defend. So when people tell me that all of this has made women happier, I look at the data and I ask myself, really? When nearly 30% of women in their 30s are single, maybe that same motivation is leading them straight to the wall, just like you. Meanwhile, the modern woman is still waiting for men to chase her, right at a time when more and more men are saying they would rather not play that game. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment. And without further introduction, let's begin.
When are people going to realize that the more successful and attractive that a woman is, the more likely she is to be fucked over by a man, or just people in general? Everyone is so shocked whenever they see a baddie get cheated on or fucked over by a man, but it's like, what were you expecting? Literally, what were you expecting? Why do you think the baddest bitches always get cheated on? Because their partner is jealous of them. So therefore, they need to go seek validation elsewhere to fulfill their own ego. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you are a hot, successful woman and you are dating an insecure man, you have a higher chance of being cheated on because you are a bad bitch, because you make more money than him, because you're more popular than him. He's gonna fucking hate that. He's gonna resent you for it. If he's insecure, not all men are like this. I don't want to be like, fuck all men. Like, no, there are good ones out there. But if a baddie gets cheated on, that goes to show that the man she was with was insecure and jealous of the woman he was with. So jealous that he had to go seek validation from other women because that's how insecure they are. Like, duh, when is it gonna clock to you people?
It's not weird at all. It is, in fact, what a lot of women out there had been asking for. So, if you don't like the fact that men aren't obsessed with women anymore, well, I guess you know who you need to talk to.
There's a saying, if you own a shop, you have to run it. If you put all your focus on success, you'll end up neglecting your partner. Do you know why most men don't want professional women or female bosses? Because they are very strong-willed women, women who don't have time for their man, women who are very difficult to deal with. Think about it for a moment. A woman who holds a high position in a company is rarely going to risk her career to start a family, have a child, or change her lifestyle for a relationship. Her priority will continue to be her career. That's why many men prefer a simple but intelligent woman, someone who fits into his frame of life, someone who can be his helpmate and who actually has time to share life together. And we're also seeing something new. More and more men are simply going their own way and choosing to avoid the drama of modern relationships.
If your husband or boyfriend disappointed you on Valentine's Day, it's your fault. Because in 2026, we don't need men. In 2026, when you put up with bad behavior from men, we see it as you choosing that you are allowing yourself to be treated poorly because in 2026, you don't need them. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass because generationally, we were conditioned by society to believe that we needed men. And in fact, our mothers, grandmothers, and certainly our great-grandmothers actually needed men to survive. They couldn't open bank accounts or get homes without a man, but you don't. You don't. You don't need a man for anything. So why are you putting up with bad behavior? In 2026, when you put up with bad behavior from a man, it just shows that it's your fault, that it's a reflection of your low self-worth and you have no self-respect. Dump him. If you are continually disappointed and he hurts you and he brings terrible things into your life, dump him. You don't need him, dump him. You don't need him. Dump him.
I love the kind of woman who tells another woman to leave her husband. I've always said in life that advice is only good if you and I are starting from the same place. Because this woman clearly comes from a good family, with connections, with money, probably divorced from an upper middle class man. For someone like that, divorce might mean a lifestyle change, but not necessarily an economic crisis. But a woman who doesn't have what she has, who isn't from a well-off family, who is poor, who comes from the bottom, if she leaves her husband over the small differences that every couple has, do you know what happens to her? She ends up on the street. She ends up broke and struggling. Because it's easy to say leave men from a place of privilege. But if you're an average woman and by your 40s you're already older, that advice can leave you working as a cashier at Walmart at 50 without a house. All because you followed the advice of bitter old women who live in a completely different world than yours. Brothers, the wall does not forgive.
One thing that I highly encourage women to stop doing, especially online, is telling men that you are willing to walk away at the first sign of disrespect, that you will not compete to be chosen, that you have so much value, you this, you're that. Once a man, especially a particular man, he will test you. And if you fail that test, he gonna forever play with you. Yeah, he can like you, he can somewhat value you, but he's not gonna value you in the way that you hope for because he's gonna take what you're saying as a joke. Real women that walk away, even if they give a man a second chance, depending on what he did, real women that walk away, real women that don't chase to be chosen and actually value themselves, don't have to constantly say it because when you constantly say it, it comes off like you're trying to convince him and yourself. He looks at it like you're giving him an ultimatum. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to leave. Yeah, it may work at first, but when he actually starts to see the pattern, it's just bluff. This is why I say women have certain rules for men that they actually like versus the man that they don't like. Oh, yeah, you'll leave all day at the first sign of disrespect if you don't like him. But for somebody that you actually are feeling, oh, baby, you give him way too many chances. This is why I don't preach to women about, oh, you need to leave him. You need to do this. I say, do not state that you're ready to leave if you're not actually ready to leave because you will relapse. I'm not just saying taking any type of abuse. I'm just saying when it comes to certain things that we proclaim that we won't tolerate, don't say what you're going to do if you're not going to do it. I'm just being honest. Yes, it sounds good on certain videos and giving you that motivation, but I know how the real world is. Fuck a internet. And the most women that swear up and down they don't chase men be chasing. The main women that be looking down at other women, calling them pick me's desperate, be the main ones that's pick me's and desperate. A telltale sign? Not always, but the women that always constantly talking about relationships. I'm not talking about content. I'm talking about just reposts, posts, girls that's not content creators, those are the main ones. It's nothing wrong. I would never say it's something wrong with loving love. But if it's to the point where you're gullible, I'm gonna need for you to shut up with the Cinderella story. And let's come back to reality. Too many of y'all want to be in a Walt Disney movie. Whole time y'all living like Yvette off Baby Boy.
Most of those old women who spend their time criticizing are still trying to be chosen by a man. They're constantly chasing younger men or trying to get noticed. The problem is that the message of leave your husband sells. It sounds empowering, but in reality, if you leave your husband when you don't have a solid support system, you're about to go hungry. That's why it's easy to say leave your husband when he's the man paying for the house, the one paying your bills, the one buying you everything, the one supporting your children, the one paying for your car, gas, and maintenance, the one covering your medicine and health insurance, the one putting food on the table. There are women who, even with a job, still couldn't maintain the quality of life they currently have thanks to their husband. When they leave their husband out of anger and after listening to messages saying they don't need him, reality hits them later. Then regret comes, because you feel empowered when there's money, but you regret it later when life starts beating you down.
If your man does any of these things, then he's no longer your man because I say so. Let's start with number 1. If he's making you guess how he feels about you, no ma'am, that's not your man. That's confusion in human form. If he's always busy, but somehow never too busy for his friends, but you got to schedule time with him like a doctor's appointment, yeah, he gone. If he flirts with other girls and then says, it's not that deep, you're just insecure. Girl, that's gaslighting, not love. If you cry and he rolls his eyes, that's not a man. That's a boy who never learned empathy. If he's giving you mixed signals, believe the part that hurts. That's usually the truth. And if he only shows up when he feels like he's losing you, pack it up, sis. He's not your man. He's just someone who doesn't like losing access to you. We're done entertaining half-effort energy. If he's not consistent, respectful, and proud to have you, then by my authority as your internet bestie, he's no longer your man. You deserve peace, not guessing games. Tell me in the comments if your man hit any of these and follow for part 2 because you know I've got more to say on this.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Many times women don't understand men. And to be fair, sometimes we don't fully understand how women see the world either. In a man's daily life, there are many responsibilities: work, bills, home repairs, vehicles, finances. All of that constantly occupies the mind, and many times it means he's not as focused on his partner's emotional state. But many women don't see that side. They don't think about the pressure a man carries to provide, to keep the household running, and to prevent everything from falling apart. She interprets the relationship mainly through emotion. That's why many of these messages are based on how something feels rather than what the man is actually doing in his everyday life. And when a woman makes decisions purely from that emotion and ends up leaving her husband, it is often afterward that she begins to see everything that man was really contributing, both materially and emotionally. The problem is that starting over in the dating world after 35 is not as easy as some internet videos make it seem. But some people insist on learning the hard way. Brothers, the wall does not forgive.
Women.
We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do women love telling other women to leave their husbands? Have you ever seen a woman divorce out of pure impulse and then ruin her life afterward? If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next video of The Wall.